It seems like we have now reached a conclusion to the whole Brian Laundrie case. So there have been human remains found in a Florida nature park, and apparently, I believe the same park that the parents said that he went to go hike in or visit or whatever. But let's get right into the story to clear things up. So human remains were found on Wednesday in a Florida nature park where police and the FBI had been hunting for Brian Laundrie, but authorities stopped short of confirming that they belonged to Laundrie. So the fugitive's items were also found, including a backpack and notebook, the FBI confirmed. The dramatic discoveries marked the latest twist in the weeks-long search for Laundrie, who is sought for questioning in the death of his girlfriend, Long Island native Gabby Petito. Now, if you haven't watched any other previous episodes about this that I covered, this statement that they make is still very important, right? Who is sought for questioning in the death of his girlfriend, because as of today, they still don't have enough evidence to actually charge him with anything, really. Especially not in terms of like murder, right? So this whole thing makes it into like a very interesting situation or outcome if it is him, because this is like a 1% chance, right? Because 99% likely he did in fact kill her, right? Like that is the most likely scenario. That being said, there is a 1% chance that he did not, and that if that is his remains, he might have killed himself because he was viewed guilty not in a court of law, but in the court of like public opinion, right? And that would be sad, right? Like it would be sad to see someone off themselves if they in fact did not do what everyone believes that they did, right? Now I'm not saying that he did not do it, but I'm saying based off the information that everyone has, right? You could pretty much assume that he has, but there's not technically anything necessarily concrete that is proving that he in fact was the one that did something, right? So it's just an interesting perspective to take on it. Like, I understand everyone probably wants him to be found guilty, probably wants him to, go to court. Some people are probably hoping that this human remains are actually him, because they don't like him and all that kind of stuff, right? But I'm just saying, keep your mind open for just that 1%, as in like, hey, what if he didn't do it, right? Imagine like this whole situation if he didn't actually do it. So Laundrie reportedly disappeared after going hiking at the Miyakachi Creek Environmental Park in adjoining Carlton Reserve in September. So earlier today, investigators found what appears to be human remains along with personal items such as a backpack and notebook belonging to Brian Laundrie. So Michael McPherson, agent in charge of the FBI Tampa field office, said at a press conference at the scene. These items were found in an area that up until recently have been underwater. Now that's interesting. So our evidence response team is on scene using all available forensic resources to process the area. It's likely the team will be on scene for several days. So McPherson, who described Laundrie as a person of interest in the murder of Gabby Petito, refused to take questions or provide more details. And so authorities discovered the remains earlier Wednesday. Yeah, see, that's actually like really, really close to his parents' home. So a cadaver dog was later deployed to the scene after the remains were found, and a tent was set up in the area. Laundrie's belongings were discovered Wednesday at the heavily wooded park, where his parents arrived in the morning, the family's lawyer, Stephen told the Post. Now the question is, why were the parents there? So the park, which reopened to the public on Tuesday, was closed again after the discovery. So the Federal Aviation Administration also declared a portion of the park a no-fly zone during the investigation, with the restriction to be lifted on Friday. So Chris and Roberta went to the Mayakachi Creek Environmental Park this morning to search for Brian. Bertolino said in an email, so the FBI and Northport Police Department were informed last night of Brian's parents' intentions, and they met Chris and Roberta there this morning. So after a brief search of a trail that Brian frequented, some articles belonging to Brian were found. As of now, law enforcement is conducting a more thorough search of that area, Bertolino added. Now, this is a bad sign for the parents, because just based off this scenario, is basically they knew where he was, or the general area where he was, since the beginning, right? And so this kind of even gets to like an even sadder thing. Let's say that he didn't, off himself, right? Let's say that he didn't off his girlfriend, and he was just like reacting extremely bad to public opinion and all that kind of stuff, right? And let's say that he accidentally just passed away because a bad storm or something, right? And he could have been saved if his parents were honest and basically told everyone where he was located, right? So that gets also into another side of it, right? Because it's like, oh, well, I mean, are the parents now going to blame themselves for the death of their son, right? So is like this type of case that has so much public viewership gets weird, right? Like this is just a really weird situation, regardless if he did it or not. This is a very weird situation for everyone involved. Let's see, anything else? So the heavily wooded reserve had been closer than blah, 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 blah. So the neighboring 25,000-acre Carlton Reserve, where authorities have also been searching for the fugitive, was listed by Sarasota County as being open. And after returning to Florida in Petito's van, Laundrie told his parents that he was going on a hike at the Carlton Reserve, from which he never returned. So authorities have been on the hunt since September 18th for the fugitive, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. So Laundrie's parents, who have claimed their son went to the Maya Hachi on September 13th, left their Northport home about 7:15 a.m. for the park, where two men in hiking gear began following them, according to Fox News. One of the men later identified himself as a law enforcement officer who apparently told the couple, "I think we might have found something," according to the network. So the Laundries later discovered a white bag and another object. After making their way through a thicket, they could be seen putting the object into the bag and handing it over to the officer, Fox News reported, and the couple were seen making and receiving phone calls before being joined by the officer, who patted Chris on the shoulder. And at 8:45 a.m., the Laundries left the park and appeared emotional when they were confronted by protesters before they headed back home. And among the canines at the park Wednesday is Diesel, who was paired with forensic investigator from the Pasco County Sheriff's Office, sources said. And so the Post wrote about the pup on Saturday, noting he's trained to detect human remains, the Sheriff's Office said. So there's an extremely high likelihood that that is, in fact, Brian Laundrie. feel free to give your thoughts as to what do you think happened. Personally, what I think happened is that regardless if he did it or not, the murder, that he most likely killed himself, right? And that is a sad thing to see, regardless, because you never want to see someone like lose a life ever, right? And also, it just leaves like too many openings as to, okay, what actually happened in this whole situation? What happened? Why did it happen? What the hell went down? All that sort of stuff, right? But again, feel free to give your thoughts. This is just a super odd case.